What's up, my Hans family? How are you guys all doing today on this fine Thursday? So I did this look on my Twitch channel about a week ago, and so many of you loved it that I did this version here for my YouTube. This is a Poinsettia Poison Ivy, so kind of a different take on her, but I did a little more detail than I did on my Twitch stream and more so focused on one side. So yeah, let's get into this shit. Oh, and before I start, make sure to follow me on Twitch because I am going to be doing a lot of body paints on there that will not be transferred to YouTube. So if you want to see some of those, make sure to check me out. All right, now let's go. All right, so I'm starting out with my bare face, but you've already seen me put on foundation and cover my brows during Halloween quite a few times, so bam, got that shit on right now. Going in with the contour shade, I'm going in with Breakup from Makeup Geek. You guys know it's probably one of my absolute favorites ever. It's a cool toned contour shade. I'm going right underneath my cheekbones and into my temples a little bit to kind of hollow out my moon face going on. And I like to bring the contour down along my mouth because that will give that really hollowed out shape. Now I'm just using a lip liner to start to sketch out where the centers of the poinsettias are. You can use any color that you want. White will definitely be one of the best because you can wipe your mistakes away pretty well, but this will all be covered up soon anyways, doesn't matter that much. I focus it more just on one side, kind of cascading up onto my face. And I'm doing the centers first just so that I know the placement of all the flowers. Starting out to draw the petals, I'm just still using that same liner. And you could easily look at a reference picture for this, just in case you have never drawn these. The key to drawing flowers, which flowers are probably one of my favorite things ever to draw, I fucking love them, but the key to them is that they're perfectly imperfect, meaning that they have lots of little wilted edges. They don't have this perfect round edge on every petal. You want to have them all very, very different looking, and some that are curled over, some that are really thin, some that are, you know, thick and underneath the other one. Poinsettias also have a lot of layers to them too, so you'll have to really layer the petals on top of each other. With the eyebrows, I kept it pretty simple, just a regular kind of poison ivy-esque shape. And since this other side of my body is going to be just completely showing, I decided to contour it out just a little bit so it's cohesive with the entire look. Have my collarbone pop out a little. With red paint from Mehron, this is a water-activated body paint. I'm just going to go in and fill the petals, but I'm not filling all of them yet. I'm just going to do a couple flowers in the red. And you can see that it does cover up some of the detail that I did do with the lines. So if you are a little afraid of covering up the detail you did with the lines, where you're like, oh fuck, how does this, petal look? I don't remember. Just go almost all the way up to the line or switch to using a little bit more of a lighter paint around the edges while you're doing the red, just so that you give yourself kind of an outline of where those petals are. While you're using the paint, this is also a perfect time to perfect the petals a little bit. Well, I guess I would say imperfect them and give them more of that jagged edge, some more interest to them. And you can see this is the reason that I didn't go in to red with all of them. I went in now with Beachberry, which is also from Mehron. It's more of a brighter red. As you can tell, the red from Mehron dries like fucking dark red, and Beachberry dries more of a bright red. So I think giving more dimension to the petals is much more of an interesting look. They may not look that different in general, but it does a little. With gold body paint, this is from FAB, I'm just drawing in some little dots into the centers of the poinsettias. And now we are going to be doing a ton of shading with tons of eyeshadows. You could use paint instead if you want, but I really love blending eyeshadows on top of body paints. I think it gives it a really, really realistic and soft blended effect. For the lighter poinsettias, I am using Cherry Cola, which is from Makeup Geek, one of my holy trinity colors that I love forever. Now, the shadow in these petals is mainly going to mean that it is either underneath another petal, so that petal on top is casting a shadow downwards, or where the petal moves downwards in some way. Whether that be the middle of the flower, where it kind of crevices downwards into a V shape, so you'd want to add a shadow down that middle vein, or when these flowers get really kind of wilted and jagged, like we were talking about earlier, they do have little shadows in between all of these little jagged edges. Think of a flag, how the fabric moves when it's blowing in the wind. These parts of the fabric that go down have a shadow, and the parts that pop up have highlight. When moving on to these dark red poinsettias that we have going on, I'm still using Cherry Cola eyeshadow, but I am mixing in some Corrupt, which is black. again, from my Holy Trinity. And I'm really darkening these because I want these to really pop out compared to the little bit brighter red ones. So we want to use a dark shadow on these darker red ones. So they have lots of contrast going on. That's why reference pictures with this, if you've never painted flowers, they really come in handy because it will completely show you how things move, or even better, if you could get a poinsettia itself and look at it and look at how it naturally moves with the light and where shadows would naturally be cast. Once you can learn where shadows cast and why they cast that way, you're golden. You can paint anything you want. And keep in mind too that all of these shadows are not going to look the exact same. You don't want every petal to look the same. Flowers are very different and have a lot of different elements to them. And when some of these petals are way lower, they're the very bottom petals in the layers, completely saturate those in eyeshadow so that it shows that those are really deep down. Using Mocha, which is just a brown eyeshadow, completing my Holy Trinity of Makeup Geek shadows that I always use, I'm going to add shadow in between all of the yellow parts of the poinsettia and underneath the actual petals too that cast onto our skin. If you have a darker skin tone than me, then just go with a brown shade that's a few shades darker than your own and try to stick more towards a neutral or cool toned color. Doing this will help it to look like it is sitting on top of our skin instead of just randomly like painted on there. Because at least with the look we're going for, we want it to look like these poinsettias just made this beautiful cascading outfit onto our skin, not so like they're tattoos in our skin, which would also be cool. So, I mean, if you want to be a tattooed poison ivy, you do you. Now with black, I'm just going back in and deepening these up just a little bit, not on every single piece, but really where there's a couple of the petals that are cascading together so that those would create quite a bit of darkness. Finally, for the final step, which is highlighting, well, the final step in the poinsettias, I usually don't even like looks until they're highlighted because highlighting just brings everything together. I'm using the NYX White Cream color, and I'm putting this more so in the middle portions of the petals and right against the edges. These are the high points of all the petals where the light would be hitting them the most. And adding highlight to your looks, they bring out the shadows more. You should always have a highlight and a shadow near each other. And again, just like I said before, don't do the exact same motion and the same thing on every petal, or else it looks too repetitive and that helps to not make it look realistic. Now that those bad boys are all done, I am using Ourfa Zinali's Slaynali pigment, which is this gold shiny ass pigment from Artist Couture, all over my collarbones and around my face. And when I did this on Twitch, we were all deciding like what lip color I should wear. So we decided on Crocodile Tears from Jeffree Star, so I stuck with it for this too. Put that on my lips and overlined as usual. And then put that gold pigment all in the center of the lips because it is just so perfectly festive and pretty. Festive little poison ivy. I added just a little bit of blush, but it was way too intense, so I had to mute it down a decent chunk. I had to draw on some sassy wing liner because wing liner is just my babe forever. I did this with a felt tip liner like usual, and then I brought that down into my inner corner just a little bit to give more of a cat-like shape and popped on some NYX lashes. For this look, I made this hat, which was actually really easy to make. It was pretty much just I deconstructed a poinsettia and some ribbon and made this hat. It's a cute little flapper hat. So I put that on and a wig, and you are done. Or I am done. We are done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I really hope you liked it and learned something about painting flowers. If you were in the original Twitch stream, you the motherfucking OG. And if you don't follow me on Twitch yet, please do. And please subscribe to my YouTube and like this video and let me know what you think down below. I'm so excited to bring you guys so many more holiday looks, so make sure to catch me on Twitch every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. Like I say in all my videos, I just love the fuck out of you guys, and I will see you in my next video.